Hello. So I tried last week to do a TikTok live with a lady who has Hodgkin's lymphoma, but because I had not gone live on 3 separate occasions or done a live for 30 minutes, I was unable to do the live with her. And I've got some other mums who want to come on and do my podcast. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go live, and I'm going to go live telling my story. So I thought, because that's what I did on Instagram. Unbreakable Voices, the first episode was me telling my story. So I thought I would just come on and, oh my God, there's a bee. I would come on and, tell my story. So I was fairly healthy. I had no real ever health issues. Had hay fever, but other than that, nothing. Had never broken a bone. Nothing really. Sort of eyesight's good, teeth were good, everything was good. And in January 2021, so bearing in mind we're going through COVID times, in January 2021 I noticed a salmon little patch that I had in the corner of this eye, and it wasn't causing me any issues with my eyesight. It wasn't giving me any pain. I didn't have, I wasn't losing weight, I wasn't getting hot flushes, there was nothing. And it was more for vanity's sake, because we just had Christmas and I could see this patch in photos. So it was more a case of, it was just annoying. And I was like, I don't know what this patch is. So I decided to go to the doctors. And I went to the doctors, and bearing in mind, like I said, it was COVID time. I couldn't actually go in to see the doctor. So I had to send a photo of my eye to the doctor, and this particular doctor, who I now refuse to see, she came back and said, I think it's an allergic reaction to something, and prescribed some eye drops. Now, I'm no doctor, but I was pretty sure that it was not an allergic reaction to anything. I put in the eye drops for, I think it was about 2 or 3 days, and it was actually stinging. And I thought, this isn't right. I do not think that it's an allergic reaction to something. So then I went back for a second opinion. And as soon as I said I need to actually see a doctor, physically see a doctor. As soon as I went in, the doctor, it was a different one, he said, I've got no idea what this is, but I'm going to send you from the urgent referral to our local hospital. So I was like, okay, good. I'm actually going to get somewhere with this. So I had the referral. They didn't know what it was. They started asking me, do I have any lumps and bumps anywhere else? Now, this was the first time that cancer had even entered my thought process. I did not think it was cancer at all. But as soon as that thought came in, that thought then went, because I was like, well, it's not cancer. So they sent me to Moorfields Eye Hospital, which is in London. And I went to the hospital, and they said, we're going to have to do a biopsy. Well, the biopsy was flipping just horrendous, because I got asked, did I want to be put under? And I was like, obviously I want to be put under. You're going to be cutting something out my eye. I was about to be put under, and then the doctor came through and said, no, she needs to be awake, because I need her to look in a certain position. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. So they gave me some drugs to numb it, and they said it was going to be like a double gin and tonic. It wasn't. It felt more like a single. It was just, I could feel it, and it was horrible. So I had the biopsy, and then 10 days later I get a phone call. I don't get called to come in. I get a phone call telling me that I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, I don't know about you. I did not have a clue what non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was. I asked her, can you spell lymphoma? Because I was like, I've never heard of this word before. So I wrote it down. So the fact that I wrote it down, you would have thought she would have been like, oh yeah, it's a blood cancer. But no, none of that. and then said that I was going to have treatment at St Bart's Hospital. Again, I had no idea St Bart's was a cancer hospital. So I come off the phone, and she ends the phone call by saying, well, you take care now. You take care now. So I came off the phone, Googled it, and then you can imagine how I felt, reading on Google, it's a blood cancer. So that was sort of, the beginning of my story. I had radiotherapy, 3 weeks of constant radiotherapy in my eye, and then after that it got infected. And then they said I was going to have, perhaps in the far, far future, early signs of cataracts. But no, I have early signs of cataracts now. But having cancer, it really, excuse the pun, but it really opened my eyes, because at the time, I just turned 37. I was working in a soul-sucking job. I was working in finance. I would get stressed at work, and I was getting stressed for somebody else's job, for somebody else's, business. And it was like, I'm coming home, taking the stress out of my children. And it's like, why? And I just felt like I was just coasting through life. I wasn't actually living. I was just coasting. And then having cancer, it just really makes you realise how life can just switch. Just a phone call can completely change your life, 100%. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I cannot just coast through life. I need to do something. I need to do more. And I've always been quite creative. And I used to always get my nails done anyway. So I decided to train in nails. So I did that. I trained in nails, started my own business, handed in my notice of my 8-year job. And in December 2022, I went full-time as a nail technician. But then it was a case of, right, I'm doing nails, I'm loving nails, and I really do love nails. I love the confidence that I give my women. I have a lot of nail biters, so I have a nail biter package, and I love that confidence that I give. But last year I really realised that something was missing, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to help more, and so I decided, what can I do? What can I get into that is going to fill that hole? And what can I talk about constantly and get that fire in my belly going and feel like I'm doing something? Like, I've always felt I was put on this earth to do something, to make a difference. And then it just hit me. It was like, cancer does not get spoken about. It doesn't. It's such a taboo subject. It just doesn't get spoken about. And I just thought, you know what? I need to talk about cancer. I need to do something around cancer. And so I got into coaching. And then when I got into coaching, I then decided, right, I want to coach, or mentor rather, because I prefer that. I want to mentor mums who have survived cancer, because I very much found, I didn't go on to Instagram when I was going through my treatment, and I wish I had, because now over there and on here there's so much support. The support in the cancer community is absolutely unreal. To speak to people who, and it doesn't even matter, it doesn't matter that this person doesn't have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, that this person has breast cancer, this person has lung cancer. You have this bond. You've heard those words, not necessarily in my situation, but you've heard those words, you've got cancer. And when you've heard those words, you then have this bond with so many other people, because at some level that person knows what you went through. That person knows the fear that you felt. That person knows the loneliness that you felt. Even if you've got friends and family around you, unless you've gone through having cancer, you do not know what it feels like. And it's not even then just yourself and your own emotions that you have to process. I've got 2 kids. I mean, they didn't know, and one still doesn't know. But you then have to put on this persona of, mum's okay, and you've got to then be okay for your children, and then you've got to be okay and strong for, I had to be strong for my husband, strong for my mum, strong for my brother, and I felt like I'd let them down, which is ridiculous. I never asked to have cancer. And it just is a tidal wave of emotions that doesn't just stop when you have treatment. It continues. And I'm 4 years later and it still continues. I get my good days, I get my bad days. But what I didn't have when I went through the treatment and when I went after the treatment, I did not have the support. I didn't have anyone to talk to who had been through it. And that's why I then started the Cancer Mum Cheerleader, because I want to give other mums and other women support that they just don't have. Whether or not it's online or it's in person, they just don't have that support. They don't have somebody who understands what they're going through. They don't have somebody who understands that it's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to feel angry. It's okay for you to feel sad. It's okay for you to not feel grateful. You've survived it, but you're not going to feel grateful all the time because you've gone through something so life-changing. So I created the Cancer Mum Cheerleader. I then started my podcast on Instagram, and I'm blown away by the women that I've had on there. And because of the response on there, I then decided, right, I'm going to bring it to TikTok, because TikTok, I don't do TikTok. TikTok is a massive platform, and the whole point of the Cancer Mum Cheerleader is, the clue's in the name. I am a Cancer Mum Cheerleader. I want to be there for every mum who is going through or has gone through cancer, every woman who feels unheard. I want to raise awareness. I want to spread education, because believe it or not, you don't have to be old to have cancer. I was 36 when I was diagnosed. Cancer does not care what age you are. It doesn't care what... Thank you. Someone just said very admirable and we're right behind you. I appreciate that. It doesn't care what race you are. It doesn't care if you're a marathon runner or if you eat 5 McDonald's a week. It really doesn't care, and it will continue to not care. But people just don't talk about cancer. They don't know what to say. I remember walking down the street one day and one of my friends crossed the road because she didn't know what to say to me. And it shouldn't be like that, because I'm still me. I hadn't changed. I just had this thing inside me, but I was still Sharon. And it's not knowing what to say, or the not saying anything, and then you bottle it up. So that's why the Cancer Mum Cheerleader was born, because cancer isn't going away. But what we can do is really educate people of all ages, especially young people, because especially like appendix cancer, I only found out 2 weeks ago you could even get appendix cancer. But appendix cancer is on the rise in young people. So it's educating people to know what to look for, to know your body, to notice if you suddenly have a lump that wasn't there before, to notice if you suddenly have a symptom that you're not quite sure of, and to not feel afraid to go to the doctors. Don't put it off. Like, I remember Sarah Harding out at Girls Aloud, she didn't go to the doctors, and unfortunately she left it too late. You can't leave it too late. Early detection really does save lives. I don't know how much I can emphasize that. If I had not gone back to the doctors for that second opinion, I don't know what would have happened. But because I did, because I decided, no, it's not an allergic reaction to something. I know my body. I know something isn't right. Because I went back for that second opinion, I then got the help that I needed. I got the treatment I needed, and I got it through COVID time. So people can't even use an excuse. Like, I was getting treatment through COVID time when the hospitals were all, fully packed and the NHS was struggling. I still managed to get cancer treatment 2 months after my diagnosis. So it really, really does make a difference if you do detect it early, and if you do go to the doctor. Don't be frightened, don't be scared. And if you are frightened and if you are scared, go online, because there are so many people out there who have probably been in the same position that you've been in and who want to actually help you. Because that's my thing now. I feel like turning my mess into my message and helping so many people. Someone said, love this, we need more people like you speaking out and encouraging people. Do you know what? I absolutely love that, because it's so true. And I just think it's like so many things, like, you know, when people talk about not drinking, there's so many taboos out there. We just need to squash them. We're in 2025 now. We're not in the 1900s. Like, people just need to be able to feel that they can speak out. Because I feel this year is actually the first year that I'm actually truly healing from cancer, because I have found this community who I'm able to talk to, who I'm able to resonate with. Hi Hannah. So I absolutely love the cancer community. So if you are somebody who has just been diagnosed and you come across me, reach out to me. There's so many of us, whether it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, wherever it is, there are so many of us out there who have been through it, and we know what it's like to feel so alone. Even though you have your family and friends around you, you still feel so alone. And it's okay, because we felt like that. I still get days where I'm, you know, still feeling a bit, ugh. But that's okay. You don't have to be okay every day. You can have days where you cry. It's absolutely okay. So that's why I wanted to come on and do this TikTok live. I don't even know how long I've been on, because I was supposed to be on for half an hour so I can do my Unbreakable Voices. What Hannah's just said, I didn't feel alone, thankfully, but felt pretty mashed up physically and emotionally. That's the thing. It's not just the physical side, it's the emotional side. It's all the emotions that come with it. It's literally a tidal wave of emotions constantly. One day you can be feeling great, and the next day you can be feeling fatigued, and the next day you can just be feeling so sad that you just want to cry. But I personally felt like I couldn't cry, because, you know, I've then had my treatment, and why am I crying? I've had my treatment, and it's going back to life after cancer. There's no support for that. There's no guidance for that. And that's why I've then decided to do a course for mentoring mums, because I'm like, I don't want people to feel how I felt 4 years ago. I don't want anyone to go through treatment, and then it's kind of like, okay, bye-bye, have a nice life. Well, what now? What do I do now? Who am I now? How do I go through life now? There's that support is what I feel is lacking. And that's why then, I've set up my course, She Rises Becoming Her Again, because I want to help like-minded mums to come together and to work through the mindset and really figure out who they now are. Because for me personally, I felt I couldn't go back to the old Sharon, because I'd been through something that literally changed me. It made me realise that I am freaking strong. I am so much stronger than I ever thought I was. And if I can beat bloody cancer, I can do anything. I literally can do anything. It gives you this strength and this courage that I never ever thought that I had. And that's why then I've started Cancer Mum Cheerleader. That's why I've started this course. That's why I do my podcasts. So if you would like to come on my podcast on TikTok, I would love to have you, because I just want to give every person who's going through cancer a voice to share their experiences. Because if you're sharing your experience and somebody listens to your story and there's one tiny part of your story that resonates with them, that could change them from not going to the doctor to going to the doctor. It could save someone's life. Why would we not speak up? We owe it to all the other people to speak up. It's that simple. It really, really is that simple. But thank you so much for everyone to watching and for the comments, and I really appreciate it. This is my first TikTok live and I was like, but yeah, it's gone well. I've got no idea though how long I've been on, so I'm really hoping that I did do the half an hour. Gosh. But yeah, so I'm going to be going live. I think it's, hold on, what's the date? Is it next? No, not next Thursday. I think it's the following Thursday with Hannah, who's actually on here now. So yeah, we're going to be going live and I'm going to be asking Hannah questions about her story, and she's going to be telling us her story. And yeah, it's amazing that these mums want to come on, and these women that want to come on and tell their story, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of them. But thank you so much for everyone who joined. Like, I really appreciate you. Have a lovely day, and I now need to work out how to save this to my page. So have a lovely Thursday.